4 horrible, radical left Democrat investigations of your all-time favorite president, me, is just a continuation of the most disgusting witch hunt in the history of our country. Whether it's the Mar-a-Lago raid or the Unselect Committee hoax, the perfect Georgia phone call, it was absolutely perfect, or the Stormy Horseface Daniels extortion plot, they're all sick, and it's fake news. Our enemies are desperate to stop us because they know that we are the only ones who can stop them, and they know it very strongly.
Joining me now, Dave Marcus, columnist with Fox News and apparently every other publication on the planet. He's also an author, and he's also my friend. Dave, you say this indictment is good for Trump, and it's good for Alvin Bragg. Let's start with the big cheese, Trump. Why is it good for him?
Look, I think Trump's basic argument from the very beginning has been that he is the person in between the American everyman and the deep state, and that when they go after Trump, they're not really going after Trump. They're going after the everyman who wants answers about, like, why is every good job gone to China, right? Why did COVID lockdowns happen? Right? Pick your poison, whatever it is. So, yeah, I mean, this Trump being sort of assaulted by the powers that be in this way only plays into his narrative in powerful ways.
Dave, why is it good for Alvin Bragg? Obviously, half the country hates his guts right now. Everyone's talking about what a piece of trash he is. Congress is threatening him for whatever that's worth. Why would it be good for Alvin Bragg?
So Alvin Bragg has been under a microscope in Manhattan because we all know there's a lot of crime in Manhattan. Even the Democrat mayor of New York City has been, breaking this guy's stones. Alvin Bragg knows if he gives the limousine liberals in Manhattan the photographic image of Donald Trump that they have been dreaming of for years and years, in handcuffs or the mugshot, he's a hero for the rest of his life. Jesse, there are Presbyterians in Oklahoma who do not look forward to the second coming of Christ with as much fervor as these people in Manhattan want to see Donald Trump have a mugshot or be in handcuffs. This guy will be a god or at the very least a prophet for the rest of his life if he gives them that photographic image, and I think he probably will.
Dave, can you explain that mentality as best you can? I know you don't share it, so those of us who don't share it have a difficulty explaining it. It's like trying to explain someone else's mental illness. It's very difficult, but that's a weird obsession for me. I hate all kinds of politicians. Gosh, I hate almost all of them. Obama, I hate him more than any of them. I've never had this ongoing dream to see him arrested. I wouldn't mind if he was arrested, but you're right, that's what they want to see. Why?
I think that with the election of Donald Trump, and we certainly saw this in the media, but I think we saw it, unfortunately, with some of our fellow citizens as well, there stopped being rules. He was supposedly such an incredibly existential danger to the United States and to our moral fabric and to everything that these people think we're supposed to be, that bringing him down became the only important job. And if that meant 51 former intelligence agents had to basically lie and say, like, the Hunter Biden laptop isn't real, that's what it meant. This was the only thing that mattered. And so I think for them to finally see the photographic evidence of Trump being arrested will be incredibly psychologically fulfilling.
Okay, for the nation, Dave, I agree with everything you just said there. It's something I've echoed, that the effort to get Trump at any cost, well, any cost can get awfully expensive, that it has done so much to damage Americans' trust in so many institutions. Dave, I don't know how you repair that. I don't know how you put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Do you?
No, I don't. And Jesse, I know from personal experience that you've spent enough time in New York City to know that the people in New York City really don't care what happens to the rest of the country. I mean, that is a secondary, if not tertiary, thought at all times, right? No, I don't know. I have a piece up at the Daily Wire today that you might appreciate because it's about this concept of, the national civil war or the national divorce. And, basically I look at it and I say, we have reached some points where we can't compromise anymore. And what do you do at that point? Like, I don't think we're going to start pointing muskets at each other, but at least rhetorically, we're in a pretty tough spot.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and dig into that because, Dave, as much as people think that I'm a firebrand or nasty or whatever they say, I really don't want to see anybody hurt. Not the left, not the right. I don't want Americans shooting each other. Again, I don't want to ever see anything like that ever in my lifetime, and I definitely don't want my sons to see it. But you're right, we're at a point now where I don't know how we live together. So what is the solution, Dave?
Look, I think in the short term, the solution is going to be a pretty bitter, at least rhetorical fight between those on the right and those on the left. We have some basic questions, right? Like there's no compromising on whether people can change their gender. There's no compromising on whether we should look at each other's skin color and feel like that gives us important information and change how we treat people. These are basic fundamental questions. And in order to compromise, what has to happen is we have to believe that the other side is operating in good faith. And right now, I don't think either side believes that about the other. And I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Okay, so those are lofty stuff that political commentators talk about. What does that mean for the average American citizen? The average American citizen, obviously they care about their country, but they care about their wife, husband, kids, paying the mortgage, getting by, and they care about not being crapped on by their government at any level, state, local, federal. What should they do? What do they do? What do you do right now?
You got to run for the school board. You got to support local politicians who are going to give you some degree of school choice. So much of this has to be done locally, and we get so distracted by, Trump versus DeSantis, and it's fascinating, and we can look at polls and all these things. Honestly, if most Americans paid half as much attention to their local school board, city council, mayor's race as they do to, the big national, partisan runs, we could probably get a lot more done.
Amen. Dave, thank you, brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Support the First TV today and get instant access to exclusive specials like Who is Ron DeSantis, the history of FBI scandals, and America's worst presidents. Visit thefirsttv.com/support or download the First TV app to become a supporter and start watching today.